Hello and welcome to the Argyle Financial Controller Leadership Forum. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. I have some important information to share with you, and then we will turn the floor over to our esteemed opening keynote speaker. First, we would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsors, Bill, Lease Accelerator, and Visual Lease. Our sponsors are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, which include complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. We also welcome you to stay socially connected during today's event. For those of you who are active on social media, please use the hashtag Argyle Digital and follow us at Argyle Exec Forum. Also, be sure to follow Argyle on LinkedIn for special announcements. I would also like to take a moment to touch on our content neutrality policy, which we have curated based on the feedback we've received over the years from our members. We have worked closely with our speaking faculty to ensure that you receive a set of balanced and neutral viewpoints during the session today, and we truly appreciate our members' support of this policy. Finally, and most importantly, we would love to hear from you. So during each session, we encourage you to submit your questions and comments in the Q&A box on your screen. Following each presentation, we have set aside time for our speakers to weigh in on your questions. Thank you again for joining us. Now let's get started. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Julian Cifliku, Divisional Financial Controller at the Kroger Company. We're excited to have Julian with us for his opening keynote titled Financial Controllers as Strategic Partners to CFOs. Welcome, Julian, and over to you.
I appreciate it, Brittany and Melissa, and also I'd like to thank Argyle Company and for having me here on the stage. And to be honest with you, it's an honor. It's an honor being here and sharing some thoughts, ideas, comments about why a financial controller is important to CFOs nowadays. And I'm going to give you like a high level and some details as far as what's important. So I'm going to start by, answering some questions here and some, on the topics such as how the financial controller are providing more value to CFOs and the entire company, like never before. So I'm going to start first with people talent development. I mean, I think it's very, very important. On our next slide, you'll see there that why is that important? Why is that important? And to be honest with you, this topic, as far as the people talent development, is near to my heart. The way how we see it nowadays is that people are the most important asset to any company. So to be honest with you, it reminds me of my early years when I started with Kroger here. Just so you know, when I started here, I came from Albania. I'm an immigrant from Albania. I arrived here in the United States in 1996. So you figure that out, do the quick math, about 8 years ago, with a passion, with a will to do good and all that. So when I started with Kroger, I started as a seafood clerk. And I have had every position. I managed the stores. I worked as a operation, merchandising, capacity in the district, and then became a controller, assistant controller, a CFO in some capacity here. And I'm here in Michigan now running the finance department here in Michigan division for the Kroger Company. I have an exciting career, met a lot of people. And like I said, going back to, it reminds my early years with my career with Kroger. I started as a seafood clerk, and I remember my second week in, I made an honest mistake. I gave a customer, instead of a walleye fish, a whitefish. And I thought I'm going to lose my job. But, the management came and said, you know what, Julian, it was an honest mistake, and I'm going to train you. So the lesson that I learned here was there is people that train. We need to train our people. And the talent is there. And we need to go and find them. So, and today, nowadays, I give back, of course, to Kroger. I teach a finance class to Kroger, and also I take part into the mentorship program that I do here. And today, just so you know, we do more with the fewer people. What I mean by that? So there are tasks, either through reporting or providing the data and all that. So we do with less people. So by doing that, we have to encourage ourselves and everybody else the idea sharing environment. We have to foster our own it mentality. So what I mean by that, the culture of safety, keep in mind, that promotes higher morale, more innovation, higher retention. So I learned throughout the years that we have to show some tolerance on the mistakes, and we have to encourage our people to learn from them. So what's important? We have to understand our audience. Okay, as an example, when I do the finance classes, when I teach the finance to either store managers or people in the office, I always keep in mind that what is the audience? What are they trying to achieve? Where we need to learn? Where is the talent? Okay, or even it's like sales or selling girls or profit we're trying to achieve. So that mentality has to be number one, and then why they are here. Okay, what kind of level of knowledge that they have? Okay, what is the goal? What is the goal they're trying to achieve? I always use this saying that I say, you know what? When you go in, as far as with the people, the positive attitude is required. What I mean by that, skills can be learned, to be honest with you, but providing that you have the right attitude, meaning that you have the hunger, okay, you have the will to learn, you have the passion. I'm curious. You have to be the curiosity that have to be there. So, and then also we need to be transparent. Okay, we need to provide just-in-time communication to our own people, to our talent, providing feedback. Like I said at the beginning, the talent exists. The talent is there. It's up to us to go and find it, because we need to help them and help our organization as well. The other sub bullet point that I have here is the reporting the key performance indicator just in time. Why is that important? As everybody knows today, the world is evolving in a fast pace. We know about the COVID. It's a lot of things going on, macroeconomics, microeconomics, and all that. So it's very critical for every business unit, especially in operation and success, reporting just in time. Let's take, for example, the budgets that we do, the variance of budget. Why is it happening? What kind of the factors that are in that, impacting that variance to budget, whatever is positive or negative, okay? And then how we project, what kind of data we input in to project, our future performance, maybe in the next few periods, maybe in the next quarter, maybe in the next year. What are these components? How that translates into our units. As an example, if you are in retail, you're going to have the stores, right? So how that translates in the stores? So what did the store management need to do? We need to update the projections, like I said. Also, what are these opportunities in the balance sheet or operating statement? It's got to be 1, 2s, and 3s. We have a lot of data, coming in our way, but ability to separate 1 or 2s and 3s that makes the most impact, that's our job, and this is how we help our CFOs. In addition to it's another thing, our mindset should be how we can mitigate losses to come to profits. As an example, let's say for any instance you have some departments that are lacking the growth. Where can you go to find maybe an expense or variable expense might be that you can mitigate those losses, can have some revenue tied into that. So at the end of the year or the next year or next quarter, you have to become positive. Business strategy, capital investment, and investment performance. This is very important. What I mean by that is, in our world right now, especially when I do in financial world, I get involved into the store budgets when we do the remodel, when we do the expansions and all that. So the key here is understanding the scope. Let's say when you have a store that, for example, you're trying to remodel or expand. What are the components there? What I'm trying to achieve? Am I adding any linear footage there? Or how can I answer to the customer request? Because that's important. What drives the market right now is just the customer appetite. What are we looking? Let's say you look at the map, and let's say you have a store up north and you have a store up on the south. It's not the same approach. So we got to be very, very mindful and very, very, very careful to that. Another key here is always remember that we don't do the remodel budgets. We don't do the store budgets just because we need to pass that, ROI, or in order to pass the ROI, return on investment. We got to make sure that these stores on their, performance, they earn that. These business units earn that. So, we don't have just to make the numbers because of that. We need to communicate these findings, these budgets, what are looking for with our stakeholders. We have the whole team. You have the merchandising and the operation. You have the HR. So everybody is involved. Everybody's involved. So our task is right now is how we communicate, how bring them all into the table. And then as you go over, you have to, when you review the performance of these business units, what are the expectations? How am I performing, half year, a year after? And then what am I doing to, make sure the opportunities that are there are being finalized and saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to capitalize on these opportunities. I'm going to turn it into the profits. On the next one, I'm gonna talk a little bit briefly about the new roles and responsibilities of the financial controllers and their teams. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the fact that I would say, at least when I started as a financial analyst or assistant controller here with Kroger Company, I remember myself doing a lot of entries, payables, receivables, variable entries, and then you just focus on the entries, focus on the closing, and then focus on the year end. So all those just, I would say, not more automatic, but manual entries and all that. The landscape has changed now, 10 years, 15 years later. So right now we have to become leaders. Financial control role is very important for any organization. We have to become that leader. We have to become partners. We are partners, okay? We are partners with other teams like merchandising, operations, HR, facility engineering, real estate, executive team. When you go to the table into this room and in a meeting room with all the teams or the executive teams, we got to make sure they understand. We listen to understand what are the needs, how our business that we have right now is going to take us to the next level. Okay, how can we be successful? What are some of the key points that we need to achieve? So this is kind of the mindset right now that has changed. And by doing that, you'll be able to provide very, very good and very helpful information to CFOs and to the stakeholders as well. We got to step outside of controller mind, okay, mindset, and participate in long-term plan. What I mean by that? As our business has changed, like I said, throughout the years, inflation is one side, okay? How about COVID? What that brought to us? Invention of AI, okay? What kind of components, how do I see my business going to the next year? So, and then how about competitors nowadays? What are they bringing to the table? How the environment, the landscape has changed. So this is what I mean by long-term, getting the information, be able to find the information and go after, analyze, provide the data, okay? So this is very, very, very important. And then third one I have down there is partner on developing a company's best practice. Here, I see myself, or everybody, financial controller becoming an important role here, because we need to reach out to other business units within our organization. As an example, I can reach out to the West Coast, to the Southwest, and try to find out or understand how the business is handling these divisions. As an example, if you take, for example, if we're trying to develop best practice in auditing, okay, auditing is very important in terms of controls, SOX, and all that important information. So you find out by having some surveys, conduct surveys to learn and understand what is unique for these markets. How can I bring everybody together in one document, one best practice, so I can have that, achieve that the goal. So bringing everybody in one document. okay, and cover the pros and the pros and cons, and also how do I add value? How do I add value with this best practice to the organization? How do I add value to the shareholders and time savings? So this is very, very important. And next, what is important on the next slide? I'm going to have show what is important. How do we keep up with changing on demands and remain a strategic partner to CFOs and the businesses? Number one is knowledge. Make no mistake, okay? Like I said, the world is changing to a fast pace. You got, one side, you got COVID, you got inflation, you have geopolitical environment that changes, microeconomics. Online business is booming, right? We have an introduction to AI. So what we need to do is we need to have that will to learn. There are a lot of media reporting. It's a Wall Street Journal. We got Bloomberg Media, global networking, all these tools that, you got to raise the hands and be curious to learn. And the other thing is, in this knowledge piece, is what matters the most to the customer. What drives the growth under current conditions? What do I have to take in the next condition? How do I sustain my growth in coming years? How to improve the quality and the efficiency of the report. We have a lot of tools, right? You got Excel tools, you got Power BI. What is that little thing that can make, huge savings, especially, when they're reporting, provides the value and the time savings as well. And then on a knowledge piece is how to understand, we need to understand the competitive environment. You have competitors that, everybody is running. Is to find that niche into the business. How can I make the profit? What do you need to provide to the customer? So that's very, very important. And then as far as integrity, exactly as it says. Okay, we got to do the right thing. In our jobs every day we have a lot of pressure, right? But the key here is how can I sustain that pressure? How do I under that pressure I have to do the right thing? We got to be open. Got to be honest. There are some times, in myself when I felt like, okay, I learned about the bad results. I learned about, some challenging results that it's going to impact materially, the operating statement. But to be honest with you, I'm the first one to deliver the news to the team. So this is what you should do. And then the other piece is the fast of the information, the quickness, how you deliver the information, because we need to, react quick. And then, like I said, we need to move quick on that and making sure that all the stakeholders are notified timely and efficiently. And then trust. You do all these things that I said before, the people, with, helping with the long-range plan, helping with investment in capital, ROI. And you do it, based on the knowledge you have and you're willing to learn, and then you build trust. You build trust because they're going to say, the CFOs and executives are going to say that, I trust X person. I trust Julian because that's provided to me all the information and he's willing to tell the truth. So we got to tell the truth. And when I say is, the phrase that I use is you have to put the elephant in the room. This is how it is. In closing, I would say I'm going to leave you with that. I read somewhere, I think it was a few weeks ago, with this phrase where it says, we have to choose the happiness. We have to choose the joy. Don't wait, for things to get easier. Simpler is better. Never will, by the way. And life will always be complicated. We got to learn, be happy and provide happiness right now. Otherwise, we'll run out of time. Brittany, that's all I had for now, and I'm going to turn over to you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Julian, for such an excellent presentation. As a reminder to the audience, you can still submit your questions, and we'll go ahead and review a few that came through. This first question asks, with the expanding role of financial controllers, what are some key challenges we might face in balancing traditional accounting duties with newer responsibilities, such as capital allocation decisions?
Great question. This has to do more the willingness, that we have or I have when I raised my hand, you said, I want to participate. I understand more when this capital allocation comes from. Okay, what is the driver, and then what is the plan? Because you got to have a plan. I mean, you have a certain amount of dollars that you have in your, in the balance sheet. They're trying to use it, and what comes first? What are the markets that are important? So it's like, you got to analyze the data. What is important? What is the most important? As far as traditional accounting, I think this is like a next level. I mean, what I'm doing right now, what are we doing right now as far as the capital investment? This is the higher level. Traditional accounting before wasn't that. Now it's more like going into the analysis, able to get the data, able to get the information in. So I don't know if I answered the question, but this is what the cornerstone is.
Excellent. Thanks, Julian. This next question, how can we ensure they remain up to date with changing regulatory requirements while also focusing on strategic initiatives?
Well, again, up to date, going back to the knowledge that we are faced and we're willing to learn. It's more like a discussion, or it's more like to get involved in participating into the discussion that we have with the team, with the stakeholders, trying to understand the movements in the market. I mean, that's the best approach that you can have. So it's like listening for anything and understanding anything.
Perfect. Thank you. And are there any specific skills or training programs that financial controllers should consider to invest for themselves in order to adapt to their evolving role?
Oh, absolutely. Special skills is people skills. People skills is, I think, is the cornerstone of everything. As I mentioned before, is we need to create that safety environment within. Okay, and don't be afraid. Never be afraid of somebody else that knows more than you. That's the biggest barrier right now as we see things. Because again, as a lead organization, we we have to value every thought, every sentence, everything that anybody brings to the table. So talent is there. So people skills is very important, because we need to treat them as such and learn from them. Listen to understand, not react. Because reaction is like, I feel like, okay, I'm going to have these because I know better. No, we got to take a step back sometimes and understand the question, understand what we're trying to achieve. So people skills is number one. The other thing is they're able to keep up with. Maybe it sounds like for a lot of you that are in the call, that's like, Julian, really, you're talking about this? Yeah, Excel skills. Everything evolves. Power BI. So I don't know what kind of a system you're using, but to me, it's like I'm a hunger to learn. How can I improve my reporting piece? And then the third one would be able to participate into the discussion. Don't be afraid to go to the boardroom and talk to executives, talk to the CFOs, challenge them. Okay, so these are I think these are the three most important skills.
Great, thanks. And I think this is a really good follow-up question. How can you motivate your team to continue learning?
Be open-minded. Be open-minded. Bring them to the table. Give them the task that probably they never heard before. Encourage them to go outside the box. I had an experience here with my direct reports or sub reports and all that just challenge them to go outside the box. And with that comes, okay, you have to appreciate, or don't have to be too critique into their mistakes. Listen, understand if they learn from that mistake. So how can I do better? Okay, so give them that freedom to make decisions, and be the first one to say if something goes wrong for any reason. Okay, I'm the first one to say, you know what, it's my fault. Successes, share with them, and encourage them to learn different skills as far as technical skills. How can you automate let's say the best practice? Let's say you have a budget in front of you. Can you automate that? How can you save? So challenge on those skills.
Great. Thank you, Julian. Looks like we have a couple more questions with plenty of time to answer them. What are the effective methods for us to communicate the value drivers they identify to other stakeholders within the company?
Well, the effective methods is more, going back to what I said before, the KPIs, just in time. Just in time, and it's our duty, it's our job, especially as a financial controller, to point the team or the stakeholders to the right number, to the right measurement, because you don't want to send a bunch of data that have everything in there, and as an audience, right? I see that and I say, you know what you're trying to show me. Where should I focus the most? Where can I make so? It's kind of, you got to hit it right on 1, 2s, and 3s that are very important, and it's very, like I said, just in time KPI communication there.
Perfect. Thank you. And what would you say is your biggest challenge in your current role, if you're able to, if you're able to address that?
Yes, biggest challenge: do not get bored. That's the thing. That you sometimes see, okay, what's next? What am I trying to do next? Okay, so don't leave yourself in the situation that, I'm bored today, I got nothing to do. No, there is no such a phrase, I got nothing to do. It's always something to do, and our role is very important. So be vocal, be available, and have that hunger to learn.
Perfect. And which tool is used at Kroger to report the KPIs, and which ERP system do they use, if you're able to share?
I'm not gonna, comment on that, to be honest with you. But if you, I think if you go to retails, and there are some, some great tools into either Google or whatever might be the case there, communication, and you can learn the most. But like I said, it's not that the tools, more than how do you treat those tools. Communication fast, so the speed, automatic, or where to hit those, like I said, 1, 2s, and 3s, the important stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julian. Those are all of the questions that we do have. So thank you so much for answering them. And thank you again for an excellent keynote. I also want to thank everyone else who joined us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. Our next session will begin shortly at 11:35 Eastern, which will be a panel discussion titled The Modern Day Financial Controller. Please click on the join button that will appear on your screen to be redirected, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again, Julian.
Thank you. Appreciate it.